Well, that is just the wildest story. I really had to make sure you guys were here so that we would all believe this, because it's so unbelievable. First of all, thank you for coming. You were fishing in June Lake, and you were in the area and was able to come. So thank you so much. I don't even know where to start. It's just such a crazy story. How many times have you seen this on the screen?
This is the second. We saw it. Bill saw it through a link, and I think his kids, this is the first time they saw it. And, I saw it at South by Southwest.
Yeah.
On the West Coast premiere.
And so, that's actually not West Coast.
No, the Midwest premiere.
So how was it like seeing this, bringing all the memories back and stuff?
It is what it is. It's got some difficult moments, especially the testimony part in when my dad was his own attorney. I mean, that was basically 16 hours of just browbeating, and he had no intention of even trying to beat the rap, because the other 3 people involved got found innocent, double jeopardy, because they had good attorneys. And then that was just for him to make his own manifesto, and that's how sick in the head he was. That's all he wanted to do, is extract his revenge, because he always thought that had my brother not have turned, he would have never gotten caught.
Yeah, so he wanted to punish you guys. And the FBI, how they kind of turned and realized that these kids were kind of victims. Do you want to kind of talk about that?
It was a very difficult case from the very beginning, but we were so fortunate to have Jimmy involved, so to speak. He turned out to be, even though he fought us tooth and nail originally, we persevered, and we became, Jim and I became very good friends afterwards. And personally, I was so happy that he was able to help us in the case, and more importantly, he was able to get his life on track and become a very successful businessman in Fresno, and just a great guy to be around.
If that bomb was built today, I mean, we obviously have the technology to deal with it differently. Would they be able to kind of deal with it, or is it still thought to have?
No, that bomb had 8 different firing circuits, and all of us bomb technicians were used to working on bombs with 1 or 2 firing circuits. Today, as of today, the military, the Navy teaches that bomb composition, every class they have. And not too recently, maybe 2 years ago, we had a symposium up at Lake Tahoe, and the military was there, the civilian bomb community was there, and nobody had an answer. They could do different things to it, but nobody came up with a way to safely remove 1,000 pounds of dynamite.
Interesting. It's crazy. Is it weird to like be involved? And does it feel like, are you kind of removed? Like you're kind of like, when people say they're hovering over their bodies, when you go over this story over and over, what's it like to be part of this whole story?
Well, it's odd. People. What's hard to understand is why didn't you just say no? Why didn't you just say I'm not going to do anything with it? And I can only bring the parallel to a young child getting kidnapped and then programmed, and then never fleeing. And you wonder yourself, why didn't she just run? Why didn't she just pursue? So he was.
He was kind of a master manipulator.
He was. Well, to get a probation. I mean, Joan was a very, very hard-ass parole officer and probation officer in Fresno County. And to get her involved to type the ransom note, to do all this, to give up her entire career, he just fell in the spell. It's I don't like to think of myself as weak-minded, but that's the only explanation I got.
Well, I think people don't realize until you're in those shoes, we're all can be victim to that. Is there any questions from the audience? Yeah.
Is it known what happened, why the charge that was meant to safely stop the bomb didn't work and the bomb blew up anyway?
That's a great question. It was an accident that didn't work. And what it was is the bottom box held all the dynamite, and it got packed full, packed full, packed full. The top went on. And originally the top box was just the top box. Well, my dad had forgot to put one stick of dynamite into the bottom box, and he goes, I'll just put it in the top box. And the shape charge hit that stick of dynamite. So had he not screwed up, they would have been able to disarm it.
Wow.
Or possibly. I mean, but it would have had a lot better chance to do that. So just a happenstance mistake made it impossible.
Actually, Jimmy, there was more than one stick.
Yeah, there was a couple that were.
Yeah, he had what we think was about 6 sticks of dynamite, and the charge we had prepared would not have set the bottom box off. It would just knock off the top one, but we had seen in the x-rays what appeared to be cylinders, and we all agreed, bomb technicians, that that was probably dynamite, and with dynamite in the top box, there was no chance that we could hit it and knock it off. It would detonate. But the specialists did testify in federal court and in state court that the bomb functioned as designed. That shape charge moved it, shook it, and the trembler switch fired the bomb.
Crazy.
So I'm a little confused. So if it was like gonna go to plan and you got his money or whatever, like, normally there'd be like, here's how you disarm it. It doesn't sound like it could have been disarmed. Like, what was that? I mean, it's always gonna essentially blow up in a sense. I don't know what the thought process on that was.
The bomb could not be moved. It weighed around 1,400 pounds, and it would have taken 4 people to move it at a minimum, and that was way too many for an explosive device. So it had to go off in the casino, and we had interviewed the engineers that worked at Harvey's. They said the building will sustain a blast of 1,000 pounds. So we said, fine, because that's what's going to happen. We're not going to move it out. We had no place to put it. You couldn't have it outside and have it explode. Had to be in the bomb, in the casino.
The theory that my dad had there was one switch on the multi-tools that would disable the trembler, and in theory, it would be allowed to be moved. That was his theory. And there was an irrigation timer in there, and it was blowing up wherever it sat in 7 days. It was blowing up no matter what. And so if they would have paid the ransom, he could have told them a switch, and then they could have tried to move it, and that wouldn't have been a guarantee that it wouldn't have gone off either, but supposedly would have disarmed the trembler switch.
So crazy. Do you have any questions over here? The whole thing's so crazy, and I think you said earlier that like not even the whole story is in this film. What is like missing from that they couldn't explore? Well,
you got to understand that from the time the FBI started interviewing me and my dad, it was a year. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you familiarize yourself. I mean, we turned into we all knew each other. And I figured out one day that I would call somebody on the phone. This is the day before caller ID and everything. It was rotary phone. So I figured out one day that everybody I called, I'd try to go out with a girl, and they'd run to their house, and FBI'd ask, they'd go to that phone number and find out, how do you know me? So I got wise, and I went through the the phone book, and I dialed probably 200 numbers out of that. And a poor agent had to go to every one of those numbers I just arbitrarily. It was that Price is the guy.
Yeah, he led us on the trail frequently.
Yeah. So, and then just the what you saw Ed Kane on there, just the honor that guy had. I mean, that the DA was very, very vocal that he was not going to budge on give us immunity, And my obligation and my brother's obligation to the federal end of it was satisfied. And they could have just washed their hands of it. Nothing I could have done about it. And I think that in this modern times, in the days now, that's what would happen. And I think there was a lot more humanity involved in law enforcement and the FBI at that time.
Yeah. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree with that. We like to do our work, and we work hard, but we also are there to take care of people. And we were lucky in having Jim to take care of, if you will, and protect both he and his brother for the service that they did to the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, very few people can go back to a moment in time where somebody's action, a complete stranger's action, dictates the course of your life moving forward. And just his decision dictated me being up here. Had it gone the other way, I wouldn't have been here. You know, I've been in jail life. So it's a scary thought, but I would rather put that trust in somebody in the 80s and with that character and everybody was there than now.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And when did your father died, right?
He died in prison.
Yeah. And
But that's where he belonged, yeah.
Yeah. How long ago was that?
You know, I read about it in the papers, how I found out about it. And it had to be 20 years ago, or yeah, about 20 years ago.
And was there any kind of what kind of feelings did that bring up?
None.
None.
Just flatline. Really was. Really was. He wound up where he needed to be.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's interesting. So is that your wife or your ex-wife or?
It's my wife.
Okay, your wife.
Sure, for now.
For now, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she talked about you kind of blocking out some of that emotional stuff. Would you agree with her when she said that or?
Well, yes and no. You got to understand that after that arrest, everything happened, I was unemployable. I had no living relatives. I mean, I was done. I was on it. I was living in my truck, and I had to claw to survive, and beg, borrow, steal, and just survive. So that creates a wall, and you don't have time to express emotions because they don't do any good. Mm-hmm. I mean, I could have felt sorry for myself all I wanted to and cry about it, but at the end of the day, I mean, you're only accountable to yourself. So it's just a kind of a point of view I have.
Yeah.
Versus,
and do you find it kind of creeps into different aspects of your life?
Yeah, that is. But it's people come. I like I alluded to you at the pizza and the karaoke the other night. I go, everybody there was great, and I had a great time. But I told you, it's also like I'm on a different planet.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm more blue collar Tennessee mountaintop kind of thing, but everybody was great and everything. And it's just we're a product of the way we were raised and what our experiences were, and that's unfortunately what I am.
Well, your experiences were extraordinary than most people's experiences growing up.
I have two questions, and they're totally unrelated. One is, what happened to your dad's girlfriend ultimately? And the other is, are you still riding bikes?
Yeah. Well, what happened to her is, at the end there, he owned the home, and he had her take a mortgage on the home for gambling money. So she owned the home, and then she went to jail and gave it to her kids. And in the scene, you see that when we went and looked at that, it really was, we just arbitrarily showed up there. That wasn't rehearsed or anything. And that lady comes out, and I had no idea who she was. And she goes, "Oh, come on in, look at the place." So, I still race, and I used to do it professionally, but now there's like a old man circuit that I do professionally. In fact, I raced up here in 1979 and won the motocross here in '79, but I hadn't been back here in 45 years.
Wow.
So.
I still have my Hudaka.
Oh, there you go. Hold on to that. It's worth a lot of money. And this spending a year with Bill, they had the good cop, bad cop, and Bill was larger than life bad cop. And he had the boots and the big belt buckle and the tight shirt, and I'm going, holy man, this guy. And then the other guy was a good cop. But when it all unfolded and all the confessions, everybody became just they cared. They cared. It was unreal. I mean, it's just unreal.
Yeah. Lou?
And I was wondering about whether he was ever charged with your mother's murder after the fact, after the autopsy they found that he was murder.
No, and what the autopsy revealed, my mom was a heavy drinker also, but she would only drink vodka. I mean, absolutely, that's all she would drink. 2 days before she went missing, she'd called 911, said she was in fear of her life. And then when they found her, she'd asphyxiated on her vomit, but she had ingested nothing but whiskey. So, and the theory is, and my dad, we're Hungarian, and he was at a Hungarian function. He was bragging about, if I did kill her, they'll never find out. And he was a big whiskey drinker. So it's all circumstantial and all after the fact, but it definitely points that way.
So you had a great archive. The book, your photo album, were there many pictures that you had through that time period? Did you use the archivists from the museum? Second question is, what was the coolest thing that the archivist at the museum had besides the table cover for the game table? And the last thing is, your colors on this is amazing. The way that you were able to get that 70s color.
The color. So he didn't have anything to do with that. The filmmakers did.
Oh,
Unfortunately.
Thank you. If you notice, on all that archive, it all stops at 6, 7 years old, because that's when it stopped. That's when we were working. My dad had a landscape company. We were working full time. We were slaves to him. So that fun and games, that was all the good pictures, and that's why they stopped, because all the good had stopped at that point. So.
And anything from the museum that you were like, oh, I can't believe that they had this. I can't believe this guy found this on eBay.
Yeah, I can't believe that they have such a shrine in Carson City to this thing. I mean, I was thinking, man, they got a whole wing here dedicated to this thing. And that's where Bill was the head agent there in Carson.
So nobody got hurt or died in the explosion?
Did anybody get hurt or die
Oh,
in the
no,
explosion?
nobody got hurt at all. Nobody died, certainly. Nobody even got hurt. That was obviously our priority. And most importantly, no bomb technicians got hurt, because we spent hours over that bomb. And ultimately, one of the pictures that they showed was taken out there at that turkey ranch when John Birges Sr. had built some equipment to create an automatic feeding system in any event. And I'm on the film there, saying that the technology was exactly the right thing that we had in the bomb. What I didn't say was that the technology and the construction of his switches was really crappy. And they would last about a week and a half to 2 weeks. That's why the uncle had complained. And so here in hindsight, we think about working on that device with these crappy triggering devices that we had to deal with. And who knows that one could have broke at any time. And that was one of the concerns later on. Thank goodness we didn't know about that at the time.
What was the reason the helicopter couldn't find the snowboard?
Thank you.
Your kid's asking you the question.
Well, they didn't have a battery for quite a while.
And that was another part that really wasn't in the. It so showed that the battery got forgotten, and they drove to pass to really get. Well, what it skipped was there's a little town called Kyberts, I think, or something there, and a little tow yard there. And so we stopped there first to try to get a battery, but it was closed. And there was a Volkswagen there, so my dad was trying to steal the battery out of the Volkswagen. And out comes this old guy with a shotgun, shoots it in the air, and he's going to kill us. And the guy's name was Jesse James, remember? and so we ran and then went to Placerville, and now this is on time crunch. And so we go to Placerville, and my dad asked for a battery. And the kid goes, well, what's the make and model? He goes, I don't know, I don't care. Just give me a battery. He goes, well, sir, I mean, I don't want to sell you the wrong battery. And the kid's being real nice. And this is like a 15-minute, my dad goes, give me a battery. So he just bought a battery. So, you know, stuff like that, all these little nuances that happen in there, and there's many more that you can't fit it in there. It'd be hours and hours.
It'd be a mini-series.
And, you know, as well as, you know, these FBI agents, they like to have fun. They pull a lot of pranks on themselves, and you saw that picture. We were going up to show them where the drop-offs were supposed, and then they go, well, we're going to take you to somewhere special. And they pretended like they were hauling us into Folsom Prison. Those two guys where we got the picture in front of Folsom Prison, those were FBI agents. And they were going to take us through there and say, well, we just changed our mind, we're taking this. And me and my brother go,
Got to be able to laugh sometimes.
they had a sense of humor, that's for sure.
Okay, one more question.
Do you have any idea what his plan was for the second bomb he wanted to build?
Did I what?
Know what his plan was for that?
He was going to go to the Bank of America building in San Francisco. I don't know why he picked that, but that's where he was going to do it. He's going to drive it right in the front, and that's what he said. So
We determined that he was going to have a van loaded with the bomb, 1,000 pounds again, and remotely drive it into the Bank of America in San Francisco, because they had a drive-through thing that you would drive down and underneath the bank, basically, and that's where he wanted to set off the second one.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, thank you so much for coming all the way out here. And don't forget, we have the awards ceremony tonight at 9:30 at the Sierra Center Mall, so hope to see you all there.